dishes that you're stewing. Don't stray far from the hearth place, no.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Witchlit Show with myself, Sheena Cundy, Witchlit author, and my fellow co-host, Wendy Steele. I'm in Essex, Wendy's in Wales, and we haven't done a show for a few weeks, so we're quite excited. So we've got a bit of backlog in the Broom Cupboard, haven't we, Wendy, to catch up on?
Definitely.
So
yeah, definitely.
What's life been like? What's your writing life been like over these last sort of few weeks? What have you been doing? What have you been up to?
Yeah, writing life has been quite tricky because partner hasn't had a lot of work. So Mike's been around a lot of the time, which obviously isn't his fault, but it has made writing a lot harder for me. But he had some work last month, and an awful lot of that week that he was away, I was writing. So basically I've got 56,000 words of a novel down.
Fantastic.
And that's the first half of the book. So even though part of me has been itching to get back to the novel a lot, I have got back and I have been doing some small bits. But the most important thing for me now is to read a book which is all about trees and the way they communicate, because that's kind of important to the novel. And then his work begins on the 1st of August. So I've been doing a lot of things, playing catch up, so that when I get to that point, I'm going to have a lot more time to write. So I've been doing more craft. I found that craft for me during this time, so both magical craft and creative craft, has just helped my sanity. While I can't get out, haven't been able to get out to the beach, which I hadn't realised what a big part that played in my well-being. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I hadn't realised what a huge part in my life that was, to just be able to get up and go whenever we wanted. And that was one of the reasons we moved to Wales, so that, we put up with the hardships of the winters here and stuff like that, so that we are in a position to be able, we're 20 minutes from the beach. I hadn't realised how big a part that played. Whereas for me, crafting has taken some of that place, and I've found it's really helped my mental health. So my Riverbank Witch page, which was, going to be a much bigger launch than it's ended up being, is progressing slowly, and I'm really enjoying it. So every other week I'm putting up a new product. So I basically have the 2 weeks to prepare for that launch, and in between time I'm still selling the products that I'd launched the week before. So I'm really excited about it, and it's very me. I'm knitting cotton cloths, which is something that is really dear to my heart. The idea of getting rid of plastics out of the ocean and the rivers and stuff. And getting back to more natural things is so me. So yeah, I've been working really hard on that. The bits of writing I've been doing have been more personal things. So when something has struck me, I've sat down and written about it, about how something maybe makes me feel or whatever like that. So not a diary as such, but more diarized. So I have done a little bit of novel writing, but that's mainly what I've been doing, and looking forward to the 1st of August, to be fair.
I bet. Well, 56,000 words, not a bad word count, is it?
No, I'm really happy. Yeah, and obviously, a lot of that may well be edited out. Who knows? I wrote it as it felt right to write it. The second half of the book is going to be different. There'll be an introductory chapter, and then it'll be written so many kind of stories running over 10 years. So it's got to cover a large amount of time. And I think I'm going to use the Wheel of the Year as my guide through the years as they pass for Lowry. So yeah, so that's what I'll be doing. So what about you? What have you been up to?
Okay, starting recording. So what have I been doing? I have been preparing and planning and plotting for my next book, which is a Arthurian fantasy fiction. And I've got to the stage now where I've had enough of it, to be honest. I need to be just starting. I've been developing characters by writing monologues, which has been really interesting for me, because I've found that they've been revealing themselves just through the monologue, you know, and just getting inside their heads. Do you know what I mean? Another thing that I have that's been helping me with this period is I have hired a book coach, and I am denied about it. I've been wanting sort of a mentor for a long time. And you know what it's like, Wendy, when you've got other author friends, you know how time consuming your own writing takes. And even just asking somebody for a review or an endorsement on a book is a big ask, isn't it? Because you know how much time these things. So, and I've not really had a lot of critique with my writing. I've never planned a book. So anyway, I got in touch with this guy, and he's very good. He's called Daniel Allison, and he's a pro Scottish storyteller. He's sort of worked all over the world, and he has just brought out a book called Scottish Myths and Legends, and it's his second book. I think his first book was called The Bone Flute, which is you know, they're fiction. They're both fiction, but you know, it was really good. I read that before I kind of got in touch with him, really, and he's been a tremendous help. He's been a real tremendous help, because I wouldn't say I'm not the most logical of people. I do reason things through, but when I'm writing creatively, I've just been used to just writing with, you know, spontaneously. So having somebody say to me, right, okay, you've got to get a structure. I mean, normally I'm okay if I know roughly where I'm going, but if you're writing, like, you know, I'm going to be writing a series, so I've really got to have a bit more of a plan. And this is a genre which I'm not used to writing in. So even, you know, I've got a world build, and I've never done that before. So yeah, it's been a big learning curve, but I tell you what, it's really helping me focus, and that's what I need, because I am the world's worst for being distracted by anything and everything. So it's really, every couple of weeks we have a chat on the phone. He goes over, you know, I send him stuff, he looks at it, and it's been fantastic, you know. But I've really been immersing myself also in the whole research, like you were saying earlier about your story, about you reading the trees, about talking to trees. And because writing isn't just about writing, it's not just the writing, is it? It's the reading and the research and all the stuff that goes on to actually bring that to the page, which people don't realise, do they? They just don't realise.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so really it's been I don't know how I found the time to do anything else, really. When I think about it, I think, my God, you know, I think once I start actually writing the book, which is next week, I've planned to start the actual book next week, the first draft. I think that I might have a little bit more headspace to think about the marketing, the publishing, and other things. But up until this point, I haven't, you know. I think we've got Zoe on the line now, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Hi, Zoe.
So right, so that's what Wendy and myself have been up to. So now we have somebody who's coming all the way from Wales, like Wendy, to join us on our show today, and that is fellow Witchlit author and witch, Zoe Murphy. Hello, Zoe.
Hi, thank you for having me.
That's all right. That's all right. Now, Zoe is a member of our Witchlit group. She contributed to our Witchlit anthology last year, which we published on the solstice, summer solstice. And you've recently had your first fiction novel out, haven't you, Zoe?
Yes, I have. Yeah, just
Tell us
recently.
about that and what that's been like.
Definitely hard work. It's something that's kind of taken me around 7 years to realise, really. I started actually kind of planning and writing the book in 2012, believe it or not, as part of NaNoWriMo. So in between then, so much has happened. It's just taken that long to kind of get it to become a reality. So yeah, I released the book on March the 31st this year through Amazon, and it's called The Ash Rose, the Llangsaith Chronicles. Llangsaith means Legion of Seven. So yeah, that's it. That's been what it's been so far. I think it's been a bit of an eye-opener for me how much of a job writing is, as well as being something that you truly love. It's definitely a hustle. So yeah, it's been exciting, though, really exciting, and obviously emotional to see something you've been working on so hard actually be in print. You know, is amazing. Yeah, is absolutely amazing. I don't think there's a it's one of the best feelings ever as a writer.
Is it available in paperback as well, Zoe?
It is, yeah. I have got them here. We did order them here. You can purchase that on Amazon as well. But obviously, recent times, pandemics, and the world has meant I haven't been able to have a physical book launch. But I think what I'm planning on doing is, obviously, if everything's okay and we're all safe, is possibly writing the second one and kind of just having the first one there, So having a book launch for the second one, a physical one, and then talking about the first one as well and seeing, who wants to kind of purchase then paperback.
Yeah, all I was thinking about the paperback was, how did it feel when you got that book?
It's I don't know. You can't. I'm never lost for words. I'll be completely honest. I'm a bit of a talker, but. Yeah, incredible, absolutely incredible. And just like leafing through the pages and seeing your work, your thoughts, your emotions, everything that's bled into that is literally, it's everything you could have ever wanted. I mean, I know loads of people saying this, but I've genuinely been an avid reader. I know my mum will tell you, an avid reader and writer since very, very young, reading from like 2 years old. Just always away with a book somewhere, used to hide behind the sofa reading Mr. Men books. But yeah, I don't think there's for a writer, nothing can beat it. I don't think actually feeling that, and we can all say Kindle and digital, but there's nothing quite like having a hard copy in your hands.
So
what
led you to begin in 2012? Sorry, Sheena.
That's all right. Go on, you carry on, Wendy.
Let me think. I think I had children. I'd done my master's in 2006, but lots of stuff had happened after that. So I never really visited. I was doing shows because I used to be a dance teacher. I actually got commissioned to start writing some dance shows, like based on fairy tales and things like that. So I think it kind of reignited that writing, sitting down and writing it. I saw NaNoWriMo and I thought, do you know what? I'd had the idea in my head for a while. I come across the NaNoWriMo initiative and I just thought I'll just give it a go. It was a completely different story then to what it is now. It's evolved massively. It's the core character of Promise, she was still roughly the same, but it just completely changed. So yeah, and then I went back and forth intermittently, and I don't think I really started writing it properly again until like 2016. And even from then, 4 years ago, it's changed. So yeah, and a lot had happened for me personally as well, which has bled into the book. And I think that kind of just spurred me on. I had quite a close death in my family. My brother passed away, and I just think it was now or never kind of mindset, even though it took me 7 years to get it there. I was like, right, well, I need to make a start at some point.
Cool.
Yeah.
The reason I asked that was I know that Sheena began writing because you felt that you had to do something, didn't you? Yours, Sheena, was all about that time in your life where, you know, you shut yourself in the, wasn't it in the caravan at the end of the drive or something? And you're like,
yeah. I started, mine was a NaNoWriMo initiatory job.
Yeah.
And so I wrote that in a month, and actually then I had it serialized on the Moon Books blog, and the publisher said to me, you know, we'll serialize it, you can put a chapter up every month. And that kept me, that put my, you know, I then put my editing hat on, and that's what I did every month. At the bottom of that garden, you know, I would edit a chapter and then send it off, and it was serialized for about a year, and then they published me after that. So I was very lucky. You know, I had that validation.
Yeah.
But I got my rights back to that book last year, end of the year before last. And self-publishing to me now seems to be, you know, the best business model, because I think that you know, when you do all that work, even though like you've spent 7 years on your first novel, Zoe, and I think, Wendy, I mean, you must have I think that first book does take the longest, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But once you get into your stride and you keep writing, and you get that next book done, and you get onto the next book, I think you've just got to keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
But then you know, you realize as an indie author that you can publish when you like. You don't have to wait until the publisher says you've got to, you know, we'll publish you in 18 months time, because that is what the publishing cycle is like with traditional publishers. You know, you have to just say yes, I'll, you know, you have to go along with what they're saying. But as an indie author, you can publish when you like. You can, you know, you've got control over your covers. You can outsource all the work, which is what I enjoy.
But this was another question I was going to ask you, whether the Welsh landscape affects your writing. Because for me, I began writing the Standing Stone novels when we moved here. We've got a Bronze Age settlement site on the hill just up the road, and I started thinking about that. And then when I was down on the riverbank, all these thoughts kept coming to me, and so that influenced me. So I started the Standing Stone books, which are just novella size, so they're 3 stories running through each book, about 3 women, and then they come together, united by the Standing Stone. So I found that much easier. So does the Welsh landscape influence your writing at all?
Is that for me, is it? Is that my...
Yeah, definitely, Zoe.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm quite patriotic anyway. I've always really been interested in, you know, our country and the heritage and the mythology, which is a shame it doesn't really get taught in Welsh schools, which is a bit of a travesty, if I'm completely honest. There's been so many people that I've talked to about, you know, the gods and goddesses that have kind of influenced, you know, what's in my book, and we haven't got a clue who they are. You know, they know King Arthur, I think, and that seems to be the only one really that everyone knows. But as for the actual, like, the landscape, I mean, I've lived in a city all my life. I know I live in Swansea, and the beaches, you know, we've got such close proximity to the beaches, to the Gower. You know, my parents always took, my mum and stepdad always took us out around Wales. We never really went abroad. We always stayed in Wales, you know. Took us to Brecon Beacons, North Wales. How can you not be influenced by this country around us, you know? So I think, yeah, 100%. I think the beauty and the magic that I definitely think is in the soil of Wales is it was a kind of a given for me to use it somehow. And also I'm really interested in urban environments as well. You know, I grew up in quite an infamous council estate, and I think that in itself has also influenced me as well. You know, the city, the inner city, the things that go on, the relationships, the narratives that go on, the problems, you know. So I think both sides, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to kind of combine those through the next 2 novels, you know, that you'll be able to see both sides of Wales, you know. So Yeah, 100%. Definitely a massive part of the book.
So
you,
Zoe,
sorry,
can I-
Sheena, you come.
Sorry, can I ask you, Zoe, have you started the next one? Have you started
Yeah,
book number 2?
I have. Yeah. I've actually been.
Are you? How far
Sorry.
in are you?
Not very far. I'd say about 500 words at the most. So not very far at all. Like it's probably a teaspoonful of words. But the one thing I have done differently this time is, I count myself as prior being very much of a bit of a pantser. I always believed it would just come. And I think the eye opener for me has been that it's not. It's a you need to structure it. So I think I found a happy medium. I did a guideline for the second one, a plot guideline. I know where I want to push it. I know which one, where things are going to happen. So I think that's what's changed. I worked on that a little bit more. And then I've started, but I've started a new job. I resigned my other job. So I was kind of like, it's better than what I've done in the past. At least I've started again, So I'm excited, actually. I'm really, really excited for it because I did leave the first book on a bit of a cliffhanger, and some people said to me, I can't believe you left us on that cliffhanger. So I was like, right, okay, it's coming. It won't be long, I promise. So yeah, a little bit in, but I feel like I'm making progress, definitely.
Okay. So what are you doing? My mate, because I'm, what are you doing to market your book? How are you? I mean,
Yeah.
It's always great to get online and in sort of a situation like this, because that's we're going to put this out on YouTube and people are going to see it, and there'll be links to the book and your pages and everything. So that's a one thing. What else are you doing? Have you got an email list?
No, I haven't.
How do you connect with your readers? How do you find your readers?
Well, that's one thing I'm really trying to work on at the minute, because I'm very new to all this, and I've read a lot, but I'm a bit like that. I've got lots of knowledge, but I don't know if I always apply it really well. So, I'm good at telling other people what to do, but not myself. So obviously I've been reaching out to fantasy reviewers and things like that. I've had a few people come back who said they will review the book. These I found I'm on a Facebook group called, I think it's Book Connectors. That's what it might be called. And I think they've got a list. I think it's that group anyway. They've got a list of bloggers, and then specific to fantasy. So that's one thing. So that's more or less probably that's trying to push the book for people to buy it. But as for my readers, I've got a Facebook page. And that's it, really. So I need to really work on that, because obviously they're the ones that buy your books, aren't they? So you need to talk to them. I did do on my Facebook page a while back, like the second title of the book, I was trying to include people in. I gave like a list of ideas that I was thinking of for title wise, and I did a bit of a poll. So I think I need to do some work on that, really, on building an email list and keeping people up to stuff.
Sheena's really into you doing your email list and your newsletter and stuff like that, and it's something I started, and then I've sort of got quite lax about it, and I need to kind of focus on it. But you have done a book trailer, which is on YouTube, and I think you should be pushing that more, because we're all online a lot more now. Let's be honest about it, so you've got something there, and it's cracking. The music, my partner straight away was like, oh, I know that beat, because he's a musician. So you've got a really catchy piece of music going on with it. So I think that's something that you could utilize more as well. But definitely use your book trailer, because it's really nice, and I'm sure people would be interested as well how you went about it, whether it was an easy thing to do or a difficult thing to do.
No, it wasn't really. I've got to be completely honest. I've used iMovie for a while for projects. I was a community engagement officer with Trinity St David's up until this month, really. But I've moved on to another position. But I used to use that a lot, iMovie, for projects and things like that. So one night I just thought, do you know what? I'd seen loads of book trailers. I find them quite creative and quite, you know, obviously they're visual. I thought it was a bit more of an engaging way because people tend to like visuals a little bit more than the written word. Well, you know, they appeal to us, don't they? You know, so yeah, I sat there with iMovie. I used some royalty-free images from Pixabay, which is a site that I've used quite often. Is Pixabay. And I just slid them in. I mean, music is a massive part of my life anyway. I write to music. Like I said, I used to be a dance teacher. I listen to music all the time. So music's really inspired me. So I thought I want a dramatic, cinematic kind of thing to go underneath, you know. Because Wales is drama, fantasy is drama, isn't it? You know, it's dramatic, it's immersive, isn't it? You know, so and magical. So yeah, it was pretty easy. iMovie, few slides that I'd selected that I thought were relevant to what the book would look like if it was possibly a film, and then some like quotes and blurb that I'd used. I tell you another thing I've done as well. I don't actually speak fluent Welsh. I know bits and bobs, but that is a huge part of the book as well. I really wanted to kind of embed the Welsh language in the book. And one thing I did was I did like another kind of, I wouldn't say it was a trailer as such, but it was like a filmic kind of, again, some slides and some quotes from the book. But my niece, who's fluent in Welsh, actually read a passage of the book, and you can hear her voice. And she's done it in such a way that it's one of the incantations that are in the book. And I thought that was a lovely little way to kind of promote the Welsh aspect of it.
I think that's good advice, but I think that if you're going to do, I mean, I totally am on the same page, pardon the pun, with that. Somebody's drilling next door. Sorry about this. I'm down the bottom of my garden, so I'm, very close to the outside world and other people's gardens. So sorry about the sound in the background, but yeah, I think that you need to be organised. This is what I'm finding. I've got another book that I'm writing as well, non-fiction, which I'm about 15,000 words into that. I haven't done anything for a few weeks, but I'm itching to get back into it. But I've made myself, with my writing time, just stay on the plan for this next book. And as Wendy and I were saying earlier, Zoe, writing is never just writing. It's researching, it's reading, it's watching a good film which will give you inspiration. Do you know what I mean? It's so many other things. It's life. It's everything informs our writing. Our whole experience of life informs our writing. So the actual writing is a very small part of our craft, our art. Yeah. But I would say now that I'm finding I've got more time, because I feel very much that with if you're serious about writing and publishing and selling your work, then yes, you do have to treat it as a business. I've never thought, and transitioning from something which is a hobby to a business is a big leap. Yes. I found it's a big leap. I still find that difficult to think, I need to be selling books. I need to be checking my sales page, which I never do. But, I need to be getting more business-like. Yeah. But I was telling Wendy earlier on, I've got a book coach who's been helping me and really focusing me. And part of our chat the other day was on the business side of things. And he was sort of saying to me, you've just got to schedule time. You've got to schedule time and just be organised about it. And I know that I've known that for a long time, but I've always thought of my writing time, my creative time, as being something that's very spontaneous, because I write songs. I'm a songwriter, and my songwriting has always been spontaneous. I've never actually sat down and thought, today I'm going to write a song. It always just comes to me. Yeah. But I think if you want to write books and keep writing books and create an author business, then you've got to treat it like work. You've got to sit down on your bum and say, right, okay, from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock, I am writing. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm not going to have my phone next to me. Yeah. And when I go to the toilet, I'm not going to check Facebook. Or when I go and put the kettle on while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil. Yeah. I'm not going to blooming check Instagram either. Because as soon as you do that, as little time as you think you're taking out of, you know, waiting for the kettle to boil or, you know, going to the loo, as a small amount of time as that is, it's enough to affect the brain waves and to break up your concentration and your focus straight away. And that is something that I am going to be really, and it's down to discipline. You know, it's down to discipline. But just having this guy sort of say all the things that I knew I should be thinking about and doing has been a godsend to me. So, and he's, you know, he's half my age. He's young enough to be my son, and yet he knows all the, you know. But I'm not an ageist or anything, and I'm always open to new ideas and suggestions. And I think that's being like that is you know, you've got to be like that, haven't you, really? Otherwise, if you get stuck in your ways, you're never going to take advice, you're never going to learn from other people, and you're never going to learn by your mistakes, because you're never going to think you're wrong.
Yeah, no, totally.
You know?
We ought to start winding up. I'm just looking at the time.
Yes, definitely.
One of the things I know you were going to ask, because you'd seen it, Sheena, was you're contemplating a PhD, Zoe, in creative writing. Is that right? Then, and you're contemplating a PhD because you've got nothing else to do, have you?
I know. I've already been told off by loads of people, and this is my problem. You see, I get ideas, and I think because with me, I'm a bit of an achiever, and I've got most qualifications now, including a PGCE in post-compulsory education and training. I was like, well, I know I want to do it. It's always been a dream of mine to like get through education to the top. So I thought, well, I might as well use it and do it in something I love as well, you know. So yeah, but I'm putting it on the back burner and being a sensible girl, and I'm leaving it for a little while. I have got a plan of what I want to do and the research I want to do. But yeah, I'm going to be sensible and leave it for a little while and concentrate on actual writing.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've got people looking for book 2 in a series, then I think that is a really sensible thing to do. And while you've still got lots of ideas of things you want to write at the moment, that may well be, you know, the right way for you. And you're a bright young thing. You've got plenty of years ahead of you, you know, to write the things that you want to write. So
remember what they say is nothing sells a book like the next book.
Yes.
So get on with that next book, especially if you've got people that are asking about where book number 2. Then, you know, get on with it. Make that your priority. Get your website done. Start building your email list, and that is enough. That's enough to be thinking about. You know. Because, how many children have you got, Zoe?
I've got 3. One of them's older though. One of them's 22. She's on the way. She's moving out now. And then I've got a 12 and a 10-year-old as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your time is pretty much divided, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Even more reason to be organised and structure your writing time and your publishing time and your marketing time, so that you just, you know, prioritise that. Because I know, Wendy knows, we're mums, you know. I mean, my eldest son passed his driving test last week. He's 20, and suddenly I'm like, I've got no dependents apart from my dogs, you know. I've got no dependents. I'm not a taxi driver anymore. You know? I just wash their clothes and cook their meals still, but I don't have to take them anywhere, you know. Because they're both old enough, they've both got cars, so and that brings its own issues, doesn't it? Just worry about them then. But no, honestly, so we totally understand. We've been where you are, you know, once, and we understand. And you know, they are your priority above anything else. Of course they are. But your writing time is sacrosanct.
Yes, definitely. I couldn't agree more.
Sacred. Put your writing tool. Put that on your altar. That is your, you know. That's what you must guard your writing time, and make it your priority, because as a writer nothing is better a promotional tool than new work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
New work.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what it is with I'm a little bit of a rebel inside, and I think I always like kind of rebelled against being told what to do. I've got a bit of an issue with that. I like advice. I just feel that when people are telling me what to do, I don't. It's weird, you know. I've been very organised in my academic life, but I think when it comes to this, because I love it so much, I've never seen it as being a kind of a really structured approach. You know what I mean? I've struggled with that, but you know, everything you're saying is bang on, you know, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm never going to get through the second book unless I organise myself, and I really have become what I thought I never would be, because I do think I'm a bit of a free spirit, but you can't, unfortunately, you just can't do it, because like you said, it takes time, it's hard work, it takes graft. So you know, the start for me realising I was changing as a writer was the fact that I plotted the whole second book. I've also plotted the third book, so I can't, you know, I know that will change, you know, it might change, but at least I've got a guideline now, you know, of where I want to go. And it's all been a bit crazier over the last couple of weeks because I've got a new job and it's long shifts and stuff like that, but it's all settling in now, so I'm ready to kind of, you know, get back to it now and really dedicate.
And we both really understand that free spirit idea.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that's my kind of adage is, if you don't have a plan, you can't change it.
No. Yeah.
So true. You know, if you've just got, you know, if you've got the skeleton of a plan, you can move that plan around. But if you don't have a plan at all, then it makes it much harder. So, so I get that.
Yeah.
Sheena, will you do a card for Zoe?
Do you know what? I was just thinking the same.
Were you?
Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to get my cards out, Zoe, and you can tell me when to stop, and then you can pick one.
Okay.
I'll pick one for you.
Stop.
That one?
Yeah. Ooh.
What is it?
Up the other way. Silver birch. Ah.
I love birch trees.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Silver birch is about service. All right. That's what this energy is all about. It's about service.
Okay.
And you cannot, I think that kind of covers a lot of what we talked about today, because you can't begin to think about offering your services to anybody else unless you're serving yourself first.
Yeah.
So take time out to, as Wendy was just saying, make your plan. We're writers, you know, write a plan down.
Yeah.
Write a plan of what you're hoping to achieve by the end of the year, you know, and then break that down into months, weeks, days, you know. And I'm listening to myself saying this, and it's exactly what I have to do, you know, what I need to do. So I'm not saying this because, you know, but it's like we all need to do it. But silver birch is also, I don't know if you know, but silver birch was a particularly famous guide to a bloke called Maurice Barbanel, who was the editor of the Psychic News, which is a newspaper that I used to buy years ago. And he was introduced to this guide by, all he was the editor of the Psychic News. He didn't really deem himself to be spiritual. And there was a group of people that were the other writers, I think it was, that were to do with the Psychic News. They were on, they had a circle, a spiritual circle. And he used to go along and he used to write the minutes down for this circle. He used to write down, you know. On one day, they sat down and he woke up and they were all staring at him. And he said, what? And he said, I've been asleep. He said, you haven't been asleep. You've been. And apparently he brought through this amazing North American guide and they called him Silver Birch.
Wow.
And from then on, he was a medium. He was a channel for this spiritual, wonderful. And I've got quite a few Silver Birch books. And it always reminds me, when I pull this card, it always reminds me about silver birch. So maybe that's something on a spiritual level, Zoe, you could you need to do? Maybe go and Google him, you know. There are many books, but it's the most wonderful spiritual guidance.
Right.
And I know it's a different level to what we've been speaking at today, but everything begins with spirit. You know, we are first and foremost spirit. So spirit will inform what we need to do in our lives. And I think, you know, that's maybe a bit of a pointer for you at the moment anyway.
Well, I think it's funny really, but it's not funny. I get told off for saying that because sometimes I say, oh, it's mad, isn't it? And my friend Jules, who leads me, she says, it's not mad, it's meant to be. And I always get told off for saying that. I'm like, oh, it's a bit crazy. She's like, no. She said, so you learn by now that this happens for a reason, you know. But the reading she gave me the other day as well is about my connection to my spirituality and how it saved me. So I think, you know, I know we're talking about on our books and things like that, but I think it's bled into all my writing anyway, is that connection to my own spirituality and the fact that I've been looking for something else, you know, for many years now. And it's got kind of gone into my characters as well, you know, that they are looking to belong, they're looking to be a family again and things like that. So I think it's super important, you know. And
that's what Wendy and I say every time we chat to each other. You know, that is why we write Witchlit. That's where Witchlit comes from, because you write what you are. You know, it can't not be expressed through your writing and through your stories.
Yeah. So
I think that's a lovely way to end. But Zoe, you're in the Witchlit group.
Yes.
Wendy and I will make more of a conscious effort maybe to post things that might be of help to other writers, you know, that because, you know, we all need that help. We do.
Yeah.
Now, Zoe, just to finish, where can people find you and your work online?
Well, at the minute it's just Amazon. My books are on Amazon, Amazon.com. That's the only platform they're on at the minute. I am on Goodreads as well, if anybody wants to kind of have a look there. And I'm on Facebook. I'm This Welsh Witch. I'm also Zoe Murphy. I've got a Zoe Murphy writer page on Facebook. That's not quite as big as my This Welsh Witch page. So I think I've taken on board what Wendy said earlier of kind of combining it all, you know, and making it simpler for myself. And I'm also on Instagram as This Welsh Witch as well, because I also, as well as the books, I make things as well, you know, I make products and things like that. So yeah, you know, that's where they can find me, is Instagram and Facebook mainly, and then Amazon for the actual books at the minute, but I'm hoping to kind of broaden that, you know, when I get the time. So
okay, we'll put those links in the YouTube post. Okay. And of course you will have a website.
Yes, I will. I promise you. I will keep you updated. I'll let you know when it's done. I promise.
Yes, do. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to remind you in the group every so often. Zoe, website.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate everything, honestly, and thank you so much. And the group itself is amazing, and I would tell anybody who writes Witchlit to join, because I do find it very supportive, very friendly, and lovely atmosphere as well, you know, on the page. As such. I know it's a weird thing to say because we're not actually together, but you know what I mean.
No, but I think atmosphere, energy transfers, doesn't it? It transfers audibly, but on the page, like as you say, in writing. And that is really, if you can convey your personality, what you want, what you feel through your writing, that is an art.
Yeah.
You know? And there's a lot of people that can't do that.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of people end up writing texts or getting texts from people and thinking, and they totally can misconstrue.
Yeah.
Misconstrue messages because the writing isn't good enough. The writing is, but I think that's what makes us, you know, that's what inspires me to improve my writing all the time, because writing is communicating, isn't it?
Yes,
Communicating what we feel to other people, and if that comes across on our page as being friendly, that's what, you know, that's great, because that's what we are, that's what we, you know, that's our intention, is to be there to help and to you know, to network and to support each other.
Because I was just going to say that if people, you know, watching this, that your book should be free until the 12th, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
And that your new novel is called The Ash Rose. So that's what you need to be looking for when you go to Amazon and you want to read a book. And I mean, I've been and had a look, and I will purchase because I'd like to read it. I've got a bit of a backlog at the moment, and I need to be disciplined. But if anybody is interested with a book that's got a background of Welsh mythology as well, to definitely pop over and have a look at The Ash Rose. So no, but that's about me done, Sheena. But lovely to see you, Zoe. It's been a while, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see each other soon once we can travel a little bit further and meet up with other people. It would be lovely to see you and share a cup of tea at some point.
Fab, yeah, that'd be absolutely lovely. Yeah, thank you both, guys. Really honoured. Thank you.
Okay, Zoe, you take good care of yourself, love, and we'll see you back in the group.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, love.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Mix it up together, stir the madness round